People are moving to Sandpoint, Idaho because of the mountain and the lake and the people and political alignment. But they may not know what community, what neighborhood might be best for them, what they're really looking for. So in this video, we are going to go to Selle Valley, which is one of the most sought after communities for home buyers when they're looking to come here. And even the locals, when they're looking to move, Selle Valley is one of the top communities that comes up. So I'm going to take you out there. We're going to deep dive on why people love Selle Valley, what prices look like, and what type of a home you can expect. So let's go ahead and get started. My name is Ben Geanetta. I'm a local realtor right here in Sandpoint, Idaho, and I'm helping people just like you relocate and buy homes in Sandpoint. And this is going to be a series of videos talking about the different communities and neighborhoods right here in Sandpoint. And today, like we already talked about, we are going out to Selle Valley and we are deep diving on why this is one of the top communities in Sandpoint. We're going to go over the lifestyle, the land, the prices, everything that you need to know to make an informed decision. Is Selle Valley the right place for you? And if you're looking to relocate to Sandpoint, Idaho, and you have no clue what's going on up here, and you need a guide to different restaurants and things to do, go ahead and text me, 208-400-6162. Just text me relocation guide, and I'll send you my free copy where you can download it. Currently, right now, we are in downtown Sandpoint, and we're gonna drive out to Selle Valley. We're gonna take you through the entire journey. It's a quick one from Sandpoint to the Selle Valley. And that's the first thing that I want to point out is how close Selle Valley is to downtown Sandpoint. I hear all the time, Ben, I want to be close. I don't want to be far from town. And I want to be on acreage. So immediately I think of Selle Valley because there's going to be property out there. Most of it's going to be in that 10, 20 plus acre range. Of course, there's going to be some houses or properties rather, that are on that 1 to 2 acre, but that is the outlier for the Selle Valley. You typically have bigger acreage and you're close to town. So again, when people are like, I want to be on acreage and close to town, Selle Valley is the first thing that comes to my mind. And then when they go out there, they're like, yes, this is exactly what we want. So I'm gonna jump in the truck and we're gonna take a little drive out to Selle Valley. Let's get started. Currently, we're on First Avenue. It is 2:42. Let's see how long it takes us to get to Selle Valley. I suspect it won't be too long. Oh, we're gonna let some people cross. That's what we do in Sandpoint with pedestrians. We are a walking town first, so when you get people crossing the road, you give them the right of way. They're gonna wave to you. They're not gonna give you the bird. The drivers are not gonna give you the bird, so that's a big change when you're coming from big cities and towns to Sandpoint. People are actually nice and courtesy to you when it comes to traffic laws. At least that's been my experience and what I see. But anyways, back to Selle Valley. It's not going to take us long to get there. I've covered that. I'm definitely beating that horse dead. And there's a whole slew of reasons of why people want to be close to Sandpoint. It could be they still have kids and they're very active. They're going to be doing a lot of outdoor activities or sports and things of that nature. Or maybe you're just older and you need to be closer to medical, or you're still very active with the community and church and things of that nature. And so being close to town is important to you. Or maybe you just want to be close to town because you don't want to be way out in Timbuktu on acreage. Because again, I've talked about this several times already, you're going to be on acreage when you're in Selle Valley, and that appeals to a ton of people. The roads, they're going to be county maintained, and a lot of the roads out there are going to be school bus routes because you have an elementary school, kind of like a little house in the prairie. It's just out in the country. It's a small school. So anyways, school bus routes. So you get priority plowing. So if you're somebody that doesn't want a big project when it comes to plowing or big headache hassle of plowing, Selle Valley is going to be a really good option because the roads out there are taken care of by the county. And I'll be honest with you, I'm going to show you some footage as we're driving out there because I'm going to run out of things to say before we get out there. So that being said, I'm gonna turn the camera around, and that way you can kind of see what the drive looks like going out to Selle Valley. We're just now hitting 5th Avenue and Larch. So let me turn this around so you can get a little bit of a view. We are in motion. We are driving out to Selle Valley. And I apologize because I haven't told you where it is, and that's kind of important. So if you pull up Google and you kind of go a little north and to the east of downtown Sandpoint, you're going to see Highway 200 that goes east towards Montana. You're also going to see Highway 95 that goes from Sandpoint and goes up to Bonners Ferry. So just go northeast in that little quadrant, and you're going to see Colburn Culver Road that makes kind of a backwards, or makes a 7. That's going to be Selle Valley, and I'll do it on a map for you guys, so that way you can see it. And what you're going to notice, it's not that far from downtown Sandpoint. It's super close. And Colburn Culver Road, again, county maintained, it's paved. That's going to be the main artery and really kind of the boundaries for Selle Valley. Another main artery for this community is going to be Selle Road, and that's going to, you can access it right off of Highway 95. We're not going that way. We're actually going down Highway 200, and we're going to go to Colburn Culver. This is probably the most used route to access Selle Valley. The other one would be Highway 95 and going up to Selle Road. And what's neat is Colburn Culver Road will connect from Highway 200 over to Highway 95. And Selle Road will connect from Highway 95 and will run into Colburn Culver. So what's neat is you do have a couple different options to get in and out of the Selle Valley and navigate through that community. All right, so right now, you can probably see McDonald's in the screen. That's just a sign, it's really on the Highway 95 side. But anyways, we're going through Pere right now, where you have Harbor Freight, you have Yokes and Home Depot, North 40, the movie theater, and all of this is 5, maybe 10 minutes, depending where you are in Selle Valley, to your house, to your property. And that's super cool because you're going to be on acreage, but you have all these amenities, restaurants like Sweet Lou's, Fiesta Bonita, super close to you. So you can enjoy that freedom, that elbow room, but not be so far removed from town. It's kind of like West Sandpoint, and we're going to talk about West Sandpoint and how amazing of a neighborhood and community that is. It's very similar. West Sandpoint, you're super close to all these amenities, but you're out in the country. Oops. I'm messing with my overdrive and everything. There we go. All right, safe driving. The camera's mounted, so I have 2 hands on the wheel, but I accidentally hit a button. So right now it is 2:49 and we've made our way through Pere in the shopping. We're stopped at a stoplight, obviously, but this won't take us long and we're going to continue moving. So the mountains you see out there, those are the Cabinet Mountains, and they are beautiful. There's a ton of national forest out there. If you want to jump in your ATV, snowmobile in the wintertime, great spot to go. And again, you kind of have access from the Selle Valley, easy access to get out there. And we haven't talked about it. We've been talking a lot about ease of access to Sandpoint, but if you're a skier, getting up to Schweitzer is really easy. You can just hook up onto Selle Road, hit Highway 95, and meander over to Schweitzer Cutoff, which takes you up to the mountain. So I live just north of Selle Valley. I live in the Samuels area, and we're going to do a video on that neighborhood as well. So from where I live, I'm about 40 minutes from my house to the base of not to the base of Schweitzer, but to base camp, to Schweitzer and the clock tower, which is not that bad of a drive. You can probably shave off 10 to 15 minutes living in the Selle Valley to get to the same exact spot, to the clock tower. We have a little bit of road construction going on. I think they're just repaving. Doesn't look like they're widening anything. But again, that's a really good benefit of living in Selle Valley, is the proximity to Schweitzer Mountain Resort if you're a skier. Now, what about the lake? Because obviously that's a big component too of living in North Idaho. And you have a couple different options. You can go out to Sunnyside, to Hawkins Point, and you can launch your boat over there. You could just reverse this video and go to City Beach and launch there. You can go out to Dover and Hope. Hope is if you continue going down Highway 200 here. There's plenty of marinas over there where you can launch. So now what you're starting to see, let me sidetrack a little bit. This is the start. Let me get rid of my phone call here. But this is the start of Selle Valley. Really pretty. Everything's green. You get some mountains. But anyways, let's go back to talking about boats. So if you're somebody that wants to be on a boat and do all the water sports, yeah, you can absolutely do that. It's super easy and convenient from the Selle Valley. And we haven't even talked about this yet, but then you have the Pack River that runs through Selle Valley, and you could have waterfront in addition to acreage. Ooh, that Jeep right there was going to come into our lane. Thankfully, he saw what he was doing and corrected himself. So anyways, you got a river that goes through this valley. And then on top of that, you have views of Schweitzer. There's so many properties out here that have a view of Schweitzer. And that's just a gorgeous mountain. And here you go. We're going to have a little bit of an opening over here at our first really good shot of the Selle Valley. But don't worry, we're going to get up close and personal. Look at that. There's a couple big ranches right here. These trees are kind of hiding the view. But that's just gorgeous. All right, so we're still driving. We're trying to get to Colburn Culver. I'm gonna get out of the car a little bit and talk to you a little bit more about Selle Valley and how amazing this community is. All right, so right here, this is a turnoff to Sunnyside Road. Super cool community. Sunnyside is going to loop around the peninsula, and you can exit here and come out further down the highway. We're obviously not going to do that because Sunnyside is going to be its own separate video. But that is one way that you can get to Hawkins Point and get your boat into Lake Pere. And we're coming up, you can see the sign right here. We're coming up to Selle Valley. Look at that view. Look at those big old fields over there. I love this view. When I go home, because again, I live just north of Selle Valley, I often elect to go this way, even though it's a little bit longer than going Highway 95, just because I think the view's better and my cell phone works better. So if you do go to Highway 95, more than likely when you hit the Pack River turn, which is just south of the Samuel's gas station, it's there's a little crossing of the Pack River. That's why I call it the Pack River turn. But more than likely, your cell phone is going to stop working. And if you're on the phone, you're going to drop the call. And if it's anything like my phone, you might have to restart it or put it in airplane mode, because that turn just kills your phone for whatever reason. It's super annoying. So that's one reason why I like to come the Selle Valley route. We're having a little bit of road construction up here. We're going to stop, but you can start to see how beautiful these fields are. We're going to find a nice spot to pull over, talk a little bit about the Selle Valley some more, and get you some drone shots of how awesome the land is over here, how beautiful it is. Let's go up to, I was going to stop on Front Road, but let's go up to Jacobson Road. There's road construction here. We don't want to hear road construction. So I'm gonna tease you a little bit. Schweitzer is right off to my left, but I'm not gonna show it to you yet. But don't worry, I will. Just building up. Oh, there's Jacobson. All right, so I'm gonna pull over here. Let's talk a little bit about Selle Valley. We'll get the drone up. A question that you probably are asking, what type of a house can I expect in the Selle Valley? Well, you're gonna get a lot of shop houses, a lot of farmhouses, a lot of craftsman style. That's kind of the vibe out here. And there's gonna be a mixture of, hey, this house has been here for 100 years, to this is a newer build. And going back to it's been here for 100 years, it might be remodeled, it may not be, it might be fairly original. So there's a wide spectrum of what you can expect out here as far as the style of home that you might be looking for. As far as prices, well, a house up here in the Selle Valley, again, there's so many different factors. Are you on the Pack River? How much acreage do you have? Things like that. What can you expect? Well, honestly, on average, probably around that $850,000 mark. It's not unheard of to have $1 million to $5 million houses in the Selle Valley. And there's some cases where you can buy a house for $630,000. My team, we're selling one that's on a couple acres. And again, that's the outlier. Typically you're on anywhere between 5 to 40 acres. So I would say average is more in that 20-acre range. But anyways, going back to that story, 2 acres, decent house that needs some upgrading, and we just sold that for $630,000. So you can get something that's a little bit more affordable, but it might need some work. It may not have as much acreage, but you're gonna be in the Selle Valley, and that is a gold mine for the Sandpoint area. When I have people reach out to me and they're looking at the Selle Valley, they're interested in the Selle Valley, there's kind of a theme, a common theme that I see. It's people who want to have animals. They want horses, maybe some cows or goats, and definitely chickens. So kind of that hobby farm type mentality, because you can grow a good garden out here. You can have animals out here. There's no CC&Rs. There might be a few really small pockets where there's CC&Rs, but again, that's going to be the outlier. And that's okay. Maybe you're not into the animals. Maybe you just want that elbow room and you want to be in an amazing location. Well, that's the Selle Valley for you. Recreational, we talked about this. So in addition to the river and the mountain, not the river, well, the lake and the mountain, you have the river, Pack River. We talked about this, the swimming hole, it's right down there. I'm gonna show it to you. It's a popular place to jump off the bridge and just relax. Now, I will say, if you do move here, do not come on the weekends. It does get packed. The secret is out as far as the Pack River and swimming. So we tend to avoid it on the weekends, because during the week, it is a lot less crowded and it's more enjoyable for the family and I. So right now, let's go ahead and jump back in the truck. I'm gonna take you down to the Pack River where the popular swimming hole is at. Before we head to that swimming hole over at the Pack River Bridge, we stopped at Northside because, well, why not? We were passing it, we've talked about it, and this is a fantastic school. If you guys are watching my content, you know that my kids are coming here. This is a great school. It's one of the top elementary schools in Sandpoint. It does have that little house in the prairie feel to it. I'm gonna show you some drone shots of it, and you're gonna understand why I keep saying it's kind of like a little house on the prairie, because, well, it's out in the country. There's not a lot around it. You have some fields, a lot of, there's an alpaca farm actually right behind me. And there's nothing around it. There's not convenience stores, there's not bowling alleys, there's nothing around it other than residential homes, fields, and all that. And again, this is a great school. They do a lot of field trips. There's no homework. This is a fantastic school. I have no problem sending my kids to Northside, and everybody loves it. You're gonna know everyone in the school. If you have somebody that's in 6th grade, you're gonna know the first graders, and vice versa. If you have a first grader, they're gonna know the 6th graders, because this is a small school. It's really easy to get to know everybody. So now let's head over to the Pack River swimming hole. And actually, wait, before we do, right behind me, you see that road right behind me? That leads to the general store, the Pack River General Store. So if you're gonna float the Pack River, you're gonna end up, a popular spot is down at that restaurant. And that's actually a hidden secret about the Selle Valley. You have the Pack River General Store. It's a fantastic restaurant. Again, if you've been watching my content, you know that I talk about this restaurant all the time, because you would not expect it, such an amazing restaurant, out in the country like this. So if you want to go on a date night, if you don't feel like cooking, you have the Pack River General Store. Alex, the owner, he is a phenomenal chef. It's not just a, oh, I'm gonna throw up a restaurant in the middle of nowhere and it's all right. No, like, this is actually legit good food. You have to try it. Even if you don't come out and live in the Selle Valley, you have to come out here. They do catering, fantastic restaurant. And the Pack River, yes, it goes right by the restaurant. So you have sitting right on the river. It's pretty cool. And the breakfast is, well, that's a different video, but arguably the best breakfast in Sandpoint as well. So if you're looking for Northside Elementary on a map, super easy, just go to Culver Road. You should know what that is by now. And just go up to Rapid Lightning. If you see Selle Valley, go to the south just a little bit and you're going to see the school. Now, as far as that water hole where you jump off the bridge that I keep talking about, same place. Just go north of the school a little bit. You're going to see the river crossing Culver, and you're going to see a bridge, and that's going to be the water spot. Again, I can't stress this enough. The parking during the weekend gets pretty intense. We're pulling up to it right now, and it looks like we have parking up by the river, which is fantastic. I'll get out and show you a little bit of what this looks like. During the week, so like today is Wednesday, it's not packed. There's a few cars here and there's a few families, it looks like. So this is pretty typical during the week. This is again why we like coming during the weekdays and not so much the weekend. All right, so let me get my big truck off the road here. So we're just outside the Parnell Ranch, and like I told you, I have a story that I want to share with you about this ranch. I forget what year it was, but when my family and I, we came up here, before we moved to Sandpoint, we're still in Phoenix. It was in the winter time, so I believe 2016. We're like, what are we gonna do? It's winter time in Sandpoint. And of course the wife, she gets online and she finds that there's a sledding with horses up in the Sandpoint area. So we give a call and they answer, and they're not actually doing it that year because the old man who's running the ranch, Mr. Parnell, he was out sick. And so the ranch hands, they said, well, come up anyways, we'll do it for free. So we got a private tour of the Parnell Ranch that year by the ranch hands for free. Super cool. And a little bit about this ranch. So they have Clydesdales. That's the only horses that they have on the ranch. And they actually have the Clydesdales for the Budweiser horses. That's where those horses come from, is right here in Sandpoint. So anyway, it's just kind of a cool story. I'll show you a little bit about this area with the drone, and we'll talk a little bit more about Selle Valley and why this is so attractive. It's actually kind of fun, but also annoying at the same time about doing this video on the road. Yeah, we have some road noise, so I apologize about that. But people are constantly, because there's not a good spot for me to pull over really, so people are constantly stopping. Is everything okay? Super nice, but it's like, yes, just go. I'm trying to do the video. But anyways, that's the type of people that you get here in Sandpoint. If you're parked off to the side of the road like I'm constantly doing for this video, people are seeing if I'm okay. And I don't think you see that on a regular basis when you're in the big cities. So we talked about it a little bit earlier in this video, and I kind of rushed through it, so I just want to touch on it again. As far as the price point in the Selle Valley, you're going to pay a premium. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. What you can tell by just watching this video alone, it is beautiful. There's large parcels. You have Pack River going through your property more than likely. Maybe you have a view of Schweitzer. Let that car go by. But in addition to all that, location, you're close to Sandpoint. So because of all that, because you're on acreage and you probably have a little bit larger of a house and you have some of these cool amenities right on your property, views and river and water and ponds, things like that, it's just gonna cost more, especially due to the location of Sandpoint and how close it is. Oh no, you're good, Brad.
Okay, cool. I just saw you stop. I wasn't sure what was going on.
Appreciate it. Now, if you're wanting to build your own house because what you're finding in the Selle Valley isn't quite your style, or you're just interested in building vacant land, you know, it's gonna be about $400,000, and that's gonna get you maybe 10 to 20 acres, somewhere in there. Again, there's a lot that goes into the pricing. Do you have a view? How much is forested? Do you have a pond? Do you have the Pack River going through your property? So there's a lot that goes into the price when you're talking about acreage out here. But again, you're gonna pay a premium. It's almost better to, in my opinion, to buy a pre-existing house out here. Another thing that I wanna touch on is the train tracks. So there is a train that goes through the Selle Valley. It's not the busy track, so it's not gonna be going 65 miles per hour. It's not honking its horn where it's gonna be rattling the house, but I just want you to be aware of that. In general, Sandpoint is a train town. There's going to be trains. You're going to hear the train, especially if you're in the Selle Valley, especially if you're on the west side of Selle Valley, because then you have the main train that runs a ton of trains every single day, and that is going 65 miles per hour. But then on top of that, you have the smaller track that's going through the Selle Valley. So just be aware of that. If you're really sensitive to trains and you don't want that, Selle Valley may not be the best spot. Maybe West Sandpoint, and again, we're gonna do a video on that later, that could be a better option because that is acreage, and that is, you really don't hear the train when you're in West Sandpoint, or yeah, West Sandpoint, sorry. So just be aware of that. There's gonna be trains out here. But I don't think it's going to be an issue for the majority of people. there you have it. That's Selle Valley. It is a great community, one of the most sought after communities right here in Sandpoint, and I think you can see why. But I want to know, is this a community that you think that you would want to live in? If it's yes, no, in between, I want to know. Leave me a comment down below. And remember, if you want a copy of my relocation guide, all you have to do is text me or leave a comment, relocation guide, and I'm going to get that over to you.